When Rob Murdoch pulled his 1977 Triumph Bonneville out of his basement in boxes, it looked like it was beyond help. A quick glance gave us no real information on what it would take to get it back on the road. The only thing obvious was that it needed lots and lots of work. Our first step was to have the bike appraised. We wanted to find out what it was worth in its current state and what it could be worth if we restored it. Sean Brittan helped us out by giving us the whole truth, whether we were prepared to hear it or not.
The best bet I would suggest to do with this bike would be to put it back to as close as you can as an original bike, because it may cost you quite a few dollars or maybe more than the bike is worth at market value right now, but it'll make the bike worth more in the long run.
We were committed to rebuilding this monster, so our next step was to find an experienced rebuilder, someone who had a good track record with this type of bike. Bill Edgar proved to be our guy, and even though, in his words, he had never seen a bike in this many pieces, he was willing to take it on.
They are a very sturdy motorcycle, and they're built to be quite tough, and they are. Get a lot of good miles out of a Triumph.
Of course, to rebuild this bike, it was obvious we would need parts, and by the look of things, lots of them. We wanted to find a parts source that was reliable and accessible. British Cycle Supply in Wolfville, Nova Scotia came through with what turned out to be a lengthy list of parts.
I decided when the original factory sources started drying up to continue keeping the bikes on the road and help make parts available to keep them practical to ride instead of having them just as curiosities.
Once all of the costs were pinpointed, we realized that the price to restore the bike was more than the bike would ever be worth on paper. It was at this point that we stepped back a little bit and decided that maybe it would be more cost-effective to rebuild the bike to a rideable state instead of undergoing a more costly restoration to original form. We tried to make the bike look like it did back in 1977 wherever possible. After all, the bike will soon be a classic.
Anybody that's ever ridden a well-maintained Triumph has found that there's an exceptional amount of power for its weight ratio. Very nice in the corners. All in all, it's a real nice handling package. Like I say, anybody that's ever ridden one has fallen in love with them. Well, we've got a vertical twin-cylinder 750cc engine with a 5-speed transmission, wet clutch, 3-row chain for the primary, taking the power from the engine to the transmission, and then a final drive of a chain to a sprocket on the rear wheel. 2 carburetors. They weren't that hard to adjust and keep balanced. If you had any kind of knowledge at all, you could certainly keep them running. They cleaned up the front end suspension by moving the springs, the rebound springs, to the inside of the fork tube. The rear suspension stayed the same. They always did seem to work quite well from the back. The brakes are disc brakes, front and rear. Lockheed single piston hydraulic brake system with a master cylinder on the front handlebar and a remote master cylinder on the back. We've got 2 Smith's gauges, a tachometer and a speedometer. We have an amp meter gauge in the headlight. We've got 3 lights across the front of it. We've got high beam, oil pressure, and neutral, and a light switch. The gas tank is probably, I believe it's a 3-gallon gas tank. It kept the scallop on the gas tank. It came in 1969. The seating, it's got quite a nice thick dual seat on there that they have improved the padding over the years, but basically it's still the same seat on a steel pan. All in all, it's a nice seat. You can sit on that seat all day and ride it. There's no doubt about it without getting numb butt.
One final note. If you do have a bike that is in boxes like Rob's was, be prepared for it to take a while to rebuild. After all, it takes considerably longer to put something together than it does to take it apart. But hopefully you'll find the same thing Rob has, that a work of art is worth the wait.